Welcome back to the Kilted Texan. We're going to be putting a dash cam in this truck today. You notice on the side there, those are bullets. And that's his name, Bullet. So, old Bullet, the ex-mayor's truck from Hanceville, Alabama, the pickup that we picked up, is going to get a dash cam today. And we're going to get it all installed and functioning. And we'll show you a little bit of video, just a little tidbit from the dash cams, and show you how it works out. The fuse panel is located in the passenger side footwell, and this is the cover for it. And basically, you reach your finger around, get your finger in there, and just kind of pop it forward, roll it forward. And then it's that particular fuse panel right in here. And that's the one we're going to be tapping into. Right up in here. Okay, we're going to see if we can access a grounding point right here behind this panel. And try to be gentle. Yep, that's coming out pretty easy. All right, so we'll see what we can do and look around. There's one right there. We can use that right here and connect that as our ground, because all of this metal right here should be dash. Okay, this is how we test to see. Now the key is off, so we can see, hey, this test light shows nothing here, but in this one, oh, it's live, so that's 12 volt constant power. This one is going to be 12 volt switched. In fact, Sherry, if you wouldn't mind, can you turn the key on? And we'll just verify that that one will come on with the switch. And it will not. So, we'll go with that one. Can you turn the key off? Okay, that one is still constantly powered. So we'll have to find one that's on with the key and off with the key, because we found constant power a lot. So we found this one. This is the delayed accessory feed. It is basically the top 10 amp fuse in the top right hand corner of that fuse panel. So that's the one we're going to tap into. So this is going to be our grounding location, is right here. So we'll we won't even actually pull it all the way out. Just get enough of it out of there. So we can see about connecting the ground. Let's see if we can. I think we're going to have to open that up, Scooch. So now, we've gone ahead and opened that up, and we got the ground wire actually connected, and that's going to ground that camera power. So now we got that hooked up, and what we're going to do is we're going to come down through here and try to get this in behind here, so that we can get this into that fuse panel and make it not visible to the rest of the world. All right, so now we'll hop in here and grab this top one right there. Yep. That's in there. All right. So now that is installed. And these are in. We got both of these wires actually hooked to one right now because I ran out of micro 2 fuse taps. But what we'll do in the future, because I just put it to the keyed on, which is that 10 amp up top. I'll put it to that keyed power. So when the truck starts, it'll go ahead and start up the camera. So that's what this one is up here. So what we'll do is that when I get another set of fuse taps in, I'll clip this one right here and I'll run that to one of these down here that's constant 12 volt power. And that way when the car's shut off, it'll do the parking recording. But right now we kind of had to improvise, adapt, and overcome, and we'll continue running these wires. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this camera about right here. That way it's above the mirror line. It can see the driver, it can see the passenger or the driver window. And this is, you know, unfortunately, we live in a day and age where it's probably best if you do record interactions with police officers, and it's probably best that they don't know. That, you know, a lot of times they may get frustrated or upset if they know that you're filming, and this allows for a little bit more of a covert way to do it. So this is a place we're going to go ahead and put the camera, and in fact I'm going to move it over just a little bit because we're going to have that connector out there, and that way we get good view, and the forward-facing camera has a good view and unobstructed of everything to the front, and we can still run the cable out of the other side to go to the back camera. So that's why we're going to go ahead and put it here. That way it also gives a little bit of shade to the other, to at least half the unit from the little shaded area up top. All right, now that the camera is stuck, and it's stuck good, and we got good eye line to the driver, good eye line to the hood, and we can check that on the app later. We're going to go ahead and start running this wire, and this is the power wire. So just to get this hooked, we'll do that. And we'll put this to the base right here. So now that's in place. So now technically this camera, if we turn the car on, would actually work. So let's start running the rest of this. And we'll use this little trim tool. And they do provide a trim tool in the actual kit as well. So we can use that one. Thank you, ma'am. We can use that one here if we wanted to. And we can just use that to kind of push that up in there. And we'll just run this around. Right up into here. And then it just reaches right around. There's a corner, and I could put my finger on that corner right there. Now hold on just 1 second, because I didn't realize that these things had airbags actually in that A-pillar. So point of safety, you do not want that wire running in front of that airbag. It would be a bad thing if that airbag went off. It'd turn that wire into basically a whip. So this is proof that I did go back and actually place the wire behind the airbag, and I ran it down the back of the airbag to make sure that it didn't turn into a projectile in the event of an actual crash and that A-pillar airbag popping off. All right, so what we're doing is we pulled down this trim, and I'd forgotten that an airbag was back here. So we'll just kind of push these wires back behind this airbag, and then run it back up over here. So that's what we're doing right now, and we're going to get these back up into place. And we can just run this right down. In fact, usually you can just put your finger on it and just kind of work it down in. And now this wire is in place all the way down this pillar, and it's down into the section down here where we can now gather up all the slack. And I don't really want to cut these wires because you never know. We may want to move this camera. If my sister might want to get a different camera or something else that may need a different cable, you know, whatever. We want to be able to reuse this without having to cut these wires and without having to destroy it. So we got a whole bunch of slack down here. And the other thing we have is this little switch. And this little switch is the safety. And down here, what this says, it's got 4 positions. It says 11.8, 12.0, 12.2, 12.4. What that does is when this thing is in parking mode, if the battery on the vehicle gets below either 12.4, 12.2, 12.0, or 11.8, whichever one you switch it to, if it gets below whatever the set voltage is, it's going to shut the camera off so that it doesn't use any more juice. Right now I've got this one set to 12.2. Really this thing should be able to start on 12 or even 11.8 volts, but we're just kind of playing it safe here. But we're going to go ahead and wad the rest of this up and try to make it at least semi-presentable, and then stuff it down in here into the fuse panel, right next to the fuse panel, and that way it's nice and clean install and not a whole lot of visibility. And then once that's done, we'll move on to putting the back camera in. And this goes in pretty easy. There's no reason to have to hock 2 of this thing in here. So now that that's in, we're going to go ahead and run the other cable to the other side, and then I'll probably end up using maybe either these wire ties or something like that to secure the cable together down here with secure that bundle. All right, so this right here, we'll go ahead and hook into place, and then we're going to start placing this back up along in here as well. I really like the way that that's sitting, so we may have to work with that a little. But now instead of going down the side pillar here, we're just going to go through the roof. That's the nice thing, is we do not have to raise the roof to do such things. Okay, so we hop back here and we will try to get a better angle on this. Well, actually this might be the way to do it. The other thing we can do is possibly look at running some of the excess. Now, because this is a 4-door pickup, means that this cable has enough slack in it usually to probably get to the back of probably get to the back of my Excursion. So, well, in fact it is, because it's the cable that I have in my Excursion right now. So I'm going to see about maybe put some of this excess down in here. So that I don't have to stuff it up underneath somewhere else back in the back. And there is a lot of cable here. Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and continue on, I think. There's not a whole lot of extra room in this one. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and move back one notch and see where we can get. And this one seems to be going into this a little bit easier. In fact, I may run it down here a little bit and then back up. That should be just about right. For those that don't know, we are doing this in the middle of the day in Texas, and the temperature's not that bad. It's only about 96 right now, and we are at least in the shade. So we are thankful and grateful for trees. So let's see how far we can get this over. You have that other camera? Thank you, ma'am. All right, what we need to do is we need to come up with about center line. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it can drive somebody nuts if it doesn't look perfect. All right, so we got this one now. All right, I'm gonna set this camera kind of in place, and you tell me if you think it's centered. I tell you what, you might want to be back there.
I can't see you.
Okay, well that's a plus. So that's that. And last but not least, I'm going to take the fuse panel, get it placed in place. Now, she is all done.
Recording. 3 channels started.
And here's a little sample video. This is with the IR illuminators turned to auto. And you can see there's a slight purple hue because it is an IR sensitive camera.
Recording. 3 channels started.
And here's a little view from the front camera. You can tell I've got it a little bit right bias, so we may have to adjust that in the future.
Recording. 3 channels started.
And here's the view out the back, and it looks nice and clear. I got it right between the defrost lines, so it's really going to come through nice and clear.
Recording. 3 channels started.
Oh, I was worried I was going to have to pull that cable.
And there you have it. There's the audio capture that comes from inside the vehicle. So you can see it's kind of clear, nice and loud. You should be able to make out anything it said. Wind noise really shouldn't be that big of a factor. But other than that, pretty simple installation, and that covers it for the VIOFO T130 installation into a 2022 F-150. Hopefully this helps y'all out, and if it did, would you consider giving me a subscribe? And if you're gonna crash, just crash into the like button, nowhere else. And we'll see you in the next one.